Oh, we're going to get started, and it's my pleasure to introduce today's panel. We have three great presenters from different areas and of the marketing and media world, and I'll have lots of great information. So I'm going to start. I'm going to introduce Janette Boehman with WBKO-TV. WBKO Channel 13 is an ABC, Fox, and CW affiliate television station in Bowling Green, Kentucky. WBKO primarily serves the South Central Kentucky region, and the station is owned by Gray Television. WBKO studios are located in Russellville Road along the William H. Natcher Parkway. Our next presenter is going to be Joe Davis with Gerald Printing. And Gerald Printing's story began back in 1935 with a small newspaper in Scottsville, Kentucky called the Allen County News. Their founder, Larry Gerald, went to work there in 1947, took over the operation in 1959, and continued the newspaper and continued commercial printing products. In 1971, Larry decided to concentrate on commercial printing and began operating under the Gerald Printing name. In 96, Joe Davis purchased the company as he has continued the long tradition of quality colored printing. Gerald Printing is committed to satisfying the needs of its customers by supplying quality printing and related graphic services. And then our third presenter, Rick Williams with Forever Communications. The foundation of Forever Communications is a local broadcast radio. In each of their markets, they strive daily to make positive impact on the communities they serve. Their mission is to provide the highest quality product for listeners and deliver effective results in their advertising partners by creating dynamic marketing solutions. Forever Communications operates media outlets in Kentucky and Tennessee. They are based in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and also have radio stations in Jackson, Tennessee, Murray, Glasgow, Kentucky, Union City, Tennessee, Dyersburg, Tennessee, McKenzie, Tennessee, and Paris, Tennessee. So we appreciate all three of you being with us here today. And for those of you who are tuning in, we are going to go through and give each of the panelists an opportunity to introduce themselves, and then we will go ahead and ask some questions. And again, as we go through this presentation, if you have questions, feel free to add them to the chat at any time. So go ahead, and Janette, I'm going to have you introduce yourself first.
Thank you. And did I see birthday balloons behind you, Dawn? Is it your birthday?
Yes.
Happy birthday. Great. Thanks for the intro, and thanks for the opportunity to present it's just some ideas that I think would be beneficial for any business looking at doing a marketing plan. I am going to try to share this screen, and where we go. Let me make sure I've got this on here right. Can you all see my screen?
I'm sorry.
I said I'm trying to share.
There you go. You got it. I see it.
There we go. Okay, good deal. One of the things that we use when we are trying to develop a marketing plan for a business is to educate them on marketing in general and how viewers and how different people perceive them. So we utilize an illustration of the marketing funnel. And in doing this, we first try to find out in each business that's listening to decide, are you a create a need type business or are you an answer a need type business? Because your message evolves around that. Create a need is somebody that you're hoping to be out there, so you're at the top of this funnel just to get information out there and to let people know more about you. If you're an answer need type business, that's where you're at the bottom of that funnel, where it's immediacy. So if your plumbing is backed up, if your AC unit just went out, you want to know, how can I get hold of these people ASAP? So what we try to do is, at the top of that funnel is to create awareness for your business. First, the market needs to know who you are, what you do, and why it matters to me, why it matters to them. And that's always key. It's what the viewer or what the potential customer, what they want from you. It's not about all the glory and all this. It's what can you do for them? So that's where you utilize, in my instance, I utilize, of course, broadcast TV. A skippable video seems to work best, and local news provides a trust brand for that client. New, and I've learned this in the last couple of years, over the top, which is streaming TV. This is, you can utilize this where you have apps now instead of relying on strictly cable and so forth, where you can choose what channels you actually want to get. So this is an opportunity to actually zero in on products. Also, YouTube allows, for you to target your prospective customer. Then you have that middle part of the funnel. And this is once you've gotten your message out there, you continue to want to retarget them so they don't forget about you. I'm sure that a lot of y'all have done a search online, and probably within 30 minutes, if not immediately, you start getting targeted about that same thing you were just trying to search about. It follows you around, and it's kind of creepy, but our customers, your potential customers, have an opportunity to do that very same thing. So what you want to do is you focus on those people that have shown some interest already or have seen, videos that you've put out there. So it allows you to keep telling them about you, about, your business, your story. So there's so many choices out there. So, things change every day. So even display ads, social ads, email, often can remind people why you're there and why you're important for them. Then you have that bottom of the funnel. As you know, today, Google is considered that phone book. Social media is word of mouth. So when somebody says, I want to reach out, I need this now, or I want to go find out about this now. So that's when they Google, find out, in that particular category. And if they have seen you, whether it's print, paper, video, and you're already in their mind, it makes it easier for them to choose you from this long list of possible businesses that they can go to. So make sure that when they choose you and they click on that to reach out to you, that whatever it comes up, whether it's a website or a social media site, that it's up to date. I unfortunately have been to many web pages that I will go to check for a client. Go look at it and the information's not up to date. There's old information, their phone numbers might not be up to date. So that is so important because that's the first impact that you might have with a potential customer, and you don't want that to hinder that. Same thing with Facebook. I went on and was checking out a business to see what information they had there. And the last picture they posted was from 2017. So impression-wise, that's not a good impression to leave with a potential new client. I think most people want to be with more up-to-date. So make it a point, if not you, but find someone within your business that can make a post on a more current basis so that when people come there, they know that you're on top of it. They feel better about utilizing you. So make sure that that first impression is a good impression, because the money that you invest in marketing, you want that return from your investment. So follow through, be who you need to be, for that client and answer their needs. I'm trying to stay in my timeline, so I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity. If you do have questions, put it in the chat room, and we'll answer it after these fine gentlemen are done with their presentation. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Janette. Do you want to give us just a quick little rundown about you and your role in WBKO?
Sure. I am, let me get rid of this, I think. Do I need this?
There we go. We can see it. Oh, no, I see it.
Uh-oh. Let me get out of that. Well, I'm going to go on.
Your slide, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I've been with the TV station about 24 years in their marketing department. And I have, like I said, gone from one TV station, one network to 3 networks and digital and video and live streaming. And it's changed a lot and you have to change with it. So we, the station itself has been around for 57 years and part of Gray Television, which has 93 TV markets, and they help us. And so, like, if we have clients here in Bowling Green that are looking for a need, we can reach out to any of those particular stations and say, have you done this in your market? What has worked for your clients? And they are a wonderful resource for us. And we haven't done something, we reach out to them and they send us information, and hopefully we can solve not problems, but give information to businesses to help them. Because that's, you know, I've been a part of the Chamber Ambassador Group for over 25 years. And I love connecting with businesses. I love helping businesses be successful, whether it's through my business or it's just, you know, through the Chamber. It helps them, helps the community, and it's a win for all of us.
Awesome. Thank you, Janette.
You're welcome.
All right. So next up, Joe from Gerald Printing.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Really so thankful to be part of the presentation today. I want to thank Dawn, and when I think of that, I also want to take the opportunity today to say what a great job the Chamber is doing when it comes to the pandemic and looking to stay relevant with its partners. We appreciate that, and really it wouldn't hurt a thing for all of us to give them a little bit of a round of applause for the work that they're doing. Thank you, Dawn.
Good, do it without our partners.
As Dawn mentioned, I'm Joe Davis, and I'm the owner of Davis Printing, which does business in Bowling Green as Gerald Printing and also as Liberty Imaging. Our Gerald Printing headquarters and our main plant is behind the post office on Scottsville Road. And of course, the Liberty Imaging plant is located at 3021 Nashville Road. We have a leader of the Gerald Printing office is Randy Reese. For those of you listening in, you might make a note of his name. And then Jennifer Oakes is our leader at Liberty Imaging. We do have 5 other offices in Elizabethtown, Glasgow, Russellville, Clarksville, and White House. So we have a grand total of about 80 team members. And last year, our combined sales were 10.2 million. I'll give you a little bit of background. When I purchased Gerald Printing in Scottsville, and by the way, as you listen to this, think in terms of, from a marketing standpoint, how this might connect to your medium-sized to small business. I purchased Gerald Printing, as Dawn said, in Scottsville in 1996. We were known at that time as the best color printer, 4-color process printer between Louisville and Nashville. And things have changed over the years. Our main core strength is manipulating graphics files. Now that still includes great 4-color process printing, but at the same time, we've had to be flexible and make changes as our industry has changed. We moved to Bowling Green in 2000, and we had good growth over the next 10 years. However, in 2010, we did 2 things. We began growing by adding non-print on paper products, and we began expanding our footprint via acquisitions, which resulted in more rapid growth. Now, when you look at Liberty Imaging and Gerald Printing and Bowling Green, both the taglines for both organizations is print, apparel, and signs. However, we are also one of the largest distributors of promotional products in Central Kentucky. So 10 years ago, we added screen printing, embroidery, signs and promo products. And in 2019, fortunately, those new products resulted in about 50% of our total sales. So in one sense, we were so fortunate to formulate a good market strategy, but then the key is execution too. Our main focus is business to business rather than business to consumer. And our customers are the top healthcare, government. We have nonprofit customers. We're big in education, manufacturing companies, financial institutions, and our marketplace is Central Kentucky and Northern Tennessee. Our company does believe in the marketing power of the local chambers. And we are members of, actually, this sounds unreal to me, but I added it up for this presentation, 15 other chambers in our target markets. We are rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau and take pride in having 100% guarantee on all our products and services. Now, I did a little canvas work with our sales managers prior to this presentation, and they gave me some tips they wanted me to pass on to the audience today. Kind of thinking in terms of the pandemic and what we're going through, your customers may have no idea what the status of your business is right now. Are you open? Are you offering alternative hours? And of course, my sales managers say signs, banners, floor graphics will help you let them know that you are open and following proper protocols. You know, it's all about impressions in marketing. As a small business person, when you think about marketing, you get your best bang for the buck when you get a lot of impressions. That might be a billboard on Scottsville Road, but it could also be promotional products like pins and notepads, chains, keychains, and mouse pads. Now, some quick tips that they brought up were stay visible as a small business, be flexible, listen to customers, cozy up to social media, and just make sure your customers know what's going on with you. If you, as a small business person, not all of us in small business have access to marketing knowledge, but if you don't know much about marketing, get help from your local chamber professionals. And I've got to give a plug for Janette and Rick, and also other marketing professionals like Chad Webb and Jason Heflin at Crowd South. Those guys are the social media website gurus here in town, and not the only ones. And then, of course, I've got to say Gerald Printing or Liberty Imaging for everything else you need. So happy to be part of the discussion today. And Dawn, I'll turn it back over to you.
Awesome. Great. Thank you, Joe. Really appreciate that. And then last but not least, Rick, give us a little rundown about Forever Communications and yourself.
Sure. I'm going to do my best to try to make this not about promoting only radio, because I don't believe in that. That's one thing that I would caution each and every one of you listening out there to always remember. Do not ever think about advertising and marketing by putting all your eggs in one basket. You know, there's a reason Baskin-Robbins has 31 flavors. Not everyone likes vanilla. So keep that in mind. You know, everybody wants to be part of social media today, but believe me, that's something that's changed with television and with radio over the years. I mean, when you call us up now, a radio station, you're not just talking about buying ads on the Beaver or Woohoo. You know, there are a lot of other things that we can do, including text blast, targeted video, geofencing, the same with WBKO. I mean, they do those sort of things too. So remember, one thing that you need to do nowadays is always incorporate a media mix in everything that you're doing. Don't just grab what's cheap out there. You have to ask you have to ask questions. Who's going to be interested in the message that I have to put out? Who's really going to be interested in the products that I have or my services? And use the vehicles that reach those audiences. Sit down with professionals, as Joe and Janette have both said. We're here to help. I mean, our people are marketing experts, not just there to sell you something and disappear. We want to help you make your business as good as it can be. I'm an old hat around here. This white hair, I've earned it. And I've seen Bowling Green change. I've seen the industries change so much that since I've been in them. But you have to be ready to incorporate those changes into everything that you're doing. And don't think about advertising and marketing as that that expense column that you have to cut out when times are bad. When times are bad, that's when you need to increase your advertising and marketing. It's an investment, and I would encourage each and every one of you to think of it that way rather than as an expense. So anytime that we can help you from Forever Communications, we'll be more than happy to sit down with you, talk about your products, talk about your services. And if you tell me you have a $10,000 budget, I don't want the whole $10,000. I want you to spend it the way that you need to spend it in order to reach the audience and to get the results that you're looking for. So we're here to help.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Rick. So it's nice to have a variety of marketing and media providers here. You all see things a little bit differently. And so one of the questions that I want to ask is, what are some of the challenges that you see are facing businesses right now in marketing? Are there challenges or mistakes you see small business making? I know Rick just talked about don't put all your eggs in one basket. I know that's a big one. But what else are you seeing, and what would you propose that they do with that? Joe, I'm going to let you
Can I
go.
grab that first, Dawn?
Sure.
Because I see something happening that I think people need to be especially careful of. They think that social media advertising is the end all, and it's free, and I need to be doing this. Well, yes, you need to be doing it, but it's not free to make it work the way that it should work. And I hate to call it the flavor of the day, but it kind of is. You have to be there, but don't let that be the only place that you're trying to get your message out, because you're going to get lost in the shuffle.
Okay, awesome. Joe or Janette, I'm going to jump in.
I'll jump in there for a minute. I think small businesses especially really face in many cases a lack of resources. Many times it's capital resources. Many small businesses are undercapitalized, and so that can be a real issue. So it's money, but it's not just money that we need to grow small businesses and use a good marketing plan and communication channels and so on to get our messages out, but it's time. Small business people, like big business people, need to set aside a certain amount of time to think about. They have good ideas. They know their businesses. Anyone listening to this session, I'm sure you know what you're doing in your business, but take the time to get some ideas down. Sit down with your teams and get their input. How can we serve our customers better? How can we reach out to our customers better? It's difficult for small businesses to have a marketing department in-house, but that doesn't mean you can't accomplish certain things with partners like those of us in the media. We can help you in many ways. So And of course, during the pandemic, the challenge is, like we said earlier, staying in touch with your customers, staying relevant, living to fight another day.
Yeah, yeah. And you bring up a good point too, Joe, that it's working. A lot of small business owners and a lot of people in general work in their business when you really do need to spend time working on your business, planning and setting time and looking at the budgeting and looking at your marketing and looking at the analytics of all of that. And if you need help, of course, you guys are the experts to help them do that. Janette, do you have would like to answer that too?
Yeah, one thing that I've noticed, one thing I noticed with talking with potential businesses, clients, is they do this, I'm going to try it, see if it works. If it doesn't work, I'm going to back. That you are willing to invest in, if you just do it for a short amount of time, then it's not going to be effective. Unless it's a huge promotional sale where they're giving away something for 75% off, then they're going to get some immediate reaction. But if you're trying to get your brand out, your information out, if you do it for 1 month and then you say, well, that's not working, I'm going to change and do it this way. It's like starting all over again. And you do it and you do it again the next place. So each time you're doing that, you're pretty much throwing your dollars, your investment away, instead of saying, okay, and I try to tell them, you need to, we've seen all kinds of data that shows you need to show that curve of your growth, 3 to 6 months minimum, with something that you've researched, you know that it's good for your company, the plan works good for you. So give it that 6 months minimum, really, so that you see the growth. If you can't invest in that much time, then you need to go back, look at, there again, see what your business needs, how they need to direct that. But consistency in any form of marketing is key. You need to continue that process, add to it, like, Rick saying, you can use, 2, 3, 4 different areas to market yourself, but be consistent. I think that's really key to success in marketing.
Yeah.
And branding, you've got to maintain your brand, your name. You have to be there when they're ready to buy whatever it is that you have to sell. You have to be the one they think of. And if you go silent and hoping that all this will go away and people are going to flock back to you when all of this is over, you're going to be left on the sideline.
Yeah. Yeah.
One other quick point there that to follow up on what Rick was saying, I think, is that this uncertain time. Yes, it's uncertain time from an external standpoint and stay in touch with your customers, but it's also an uncertain time from an internal standpoint. And by that I mean you don't want to be caught playing the wait and see game too long. It's so important that you think about marketing, thinking about where am I going to be when the pandemic is over. And so many advisors are saying, make your best guess, take a reasonable risk and move forward, while your competitors are the ones that are scared and hesitant.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a really good segue, talking about moving forward and getting the kind of the leg up on competitors. Or what do you each have as some best practices or tips that the small business owners and small business folks on this call can use? I mean, really use and take action on fairly soon. Janette, do you want to jump in?
I really think that there again, what we do is do a diagnostic with each business we do deal with, so we can find out what they are trying to achieve, because that before you can really start a marketing plan. You need to know, if you're going to invest this much, what to expect back. So to set those realistic ideas of return on investment. So, but there are so many different areas. I know everybody's budgets are different. So depending on your budget, that's why, in our industry, we try to find the best way to utilize that dollar. In TV, we look at it as, how many people are watching particular shows, the demographic of who's watching the show. So we try to narrow that down for a client to use their dollars wisest. So it's just finding out their needs. And with each client, we can have this kind of budget, but the expectations need to go a little longer. Or those that do have a larger budget, then it can be TV, digital, social media, email marketing. There's so many areas that we are able to utilize to help the client achieve their goals.
Yep. All right. Rick or Joe?
I might comment a little bit on that, but first I did want to mention one of the questions I think was about what percent of your sales maybe should you be using for a marketing budget. And of course, you know, the answer to that's going to vary based on the industry you're in and so on. Some say it's 5% of sales. Some companies use a lot more than that, some less. I look back at our company and including our marketing department and what we spend with vendors in terms of marketing, the cost of our maintaining our website and everything, it's roughly 3% of our sales. Now, we're kind of an established company. We're not out there trying to develop a new geographical area right now. So I don't think there's a firm guideline, and it has shifted and changed as a result of some of the new marketing techniques. And like Rick mentioned, social media can be a great technique that doesn't cost a whole lot, but it just needs to be part of the mix, not the whole mix. So something else that I think is a time-tested technique is one channel is direct mail still. Direct mail is still well respected for the response rates you get. When somebody receives something in the mail, they touch it, they feel it, they're actually more likely to respond. And so you don't want to leave direct mail out of the mix. The other thing too, I think, as we think about best practices, really network and look in the chamber, on the chamber website, and find out who the different players are in this market. You're talking to some of them today, but use a vendor to test your marketing ideas. And then, you know, you can hire somebody in-house when you decide on the strategy and what you're going to do. But use a vendor. Vendors can get you a start without a heavy commitment financially long-term. So those are some of the things to think about.
Okay, awesome. Rick?
Well, these are great suggestions. You know, I wholeheartely think and approve of what Joe said about knowing ahead of time what your budget is. And don't think about it as you're just, I'm going to spend some money on advertising. That needs to be part of your business plan from the very beginning, to set aside so much of your sales to invest back into your business. You know, I hear this a lot. People want to know what your package is, or, you know, what are you selling? You know, what's the best price? And they'll just chase whatever that is out there being offered to them. And that is a horrible way to look at things. You know, advertising on my station or one of my stations may not be the right place for you. You should be somewhere else. You have to determine who your customer is and use the vehicle that's going to reach that person. It's so important to sit down, as Janette said, with consultants that you can trust. You know, I send my salespeople in as marketing consultants. They're not advertising salespeople. They sit down with the individual clients, find out who they're trying to reach, what they're trying to sell, the message that they need to get out. And, you know, radio or one of our digital products may or may not be the right thing for them. And we've walked away from you know, advertising dollars. People want to spend it with us if it's not right. You know, my boss probably wouldn't like that, the owners, but It's the right thing to do. And we want to try to help small businesses and as much as we can, not just take your money. So we're here to help. Look at it as a professional opinion and a professional process rather than just throwing money out there each month. Say, that's what I'm going to spend on advertising this month. You've got to have a better plan than that.
Yeah, I fully agree. It's got to be a strategic part of your business plan, a strategic part of what you're doing as you move forward in your organization, no matter whether you're startup or you are a $500 million organization. I mean, you've got to have those plans in place. So I know, Janette, you talked about having a marketing plan and some communication plan processes, but if you're one of those folks that says, you know what, I'm just going to throw some money out, and then now you're really wanting to get strategic about creating that, what would you need to do? Can someone answer that? I have some ideas too, but I want to hear what you all have to say.
If I can, primarily if they just say I have some money to throw at it, there again, it's to get them back on task with developing that marketing plan, because you got to set expectations with whatever investment they do with any of their marketing. So if they only have a small amount, and I think I talked to you about this, that only have a couple $100. I mean, there's a few digital things I can do, but I think to help them grow, I've told so many businesses, are you a part of the chamber? Have you checked it? Because that might be your best investment to get situated in this community, because this community is so driven by networking. We're still a small, mentality when it comes to, we still think we're a small town. And so it does matter who you connect to. And the chamber has been a wonderful way of small businesses, medium, large businesses to help do that. But there again, what Rick was saying, if someone says, I only have this much money, if it's not going to grow their business, I don't want to take it. I don't want to take, but I will tell them what they need to look at, a particular budget they want to maybe strive for, give them an idea of what that budget will entail, how many people it will reach, how many times they'll see that your commercial. You got to make sure creative is so important in our industry, because video has such a strong impact on decision making a lot of times. So if you're, what you put out there doesn't move that emotional needle or bring awareness to the product or whatever they're trying to sell, there again, it doesn't matter how much money you put towards it, it's got to answer a need. So, it's coming up with a great creative concept, using the right amount of initial dollars to get that rolling. And there again, if they see that needle moving, then they can always add more dollars into their mix as they're growing. And there again, that builds upon itself. So as they grow, they're making more money. And so their return on investment, can double and move more and more. So it's working with each client individually and educating them. Like Rick was saying, you just try to talk to them, educate them, help them grow their business the best way we know how.
Yeah, awesome. Either Joe or Rick, do you have any response to that?
She's exactly right.
Yeah, I agree. I did spend a little time thinking about how to try to simply describe a communication plan, so to speak, which could be thought of as a marketing plan. And I want to just outline that briefly, and tell me if I'm, please cut me off, Dawn, if I'm taking too long. But let's think of maybe a small HVAC contractor. Let's call them ABC, Heat and Air. They've got a mission statement. Now, I think it's important to have a mission statement. Let's say their mission statement is ABC Heat and Air is committed to satisfying its residential customers by supplying quality HVAC equipment and related services on time and at a fair price in Warren County. So what does that mission statement how does that help them get started with a communication plan? Well, in that mission statement, they've already defined their target audience. It's residential versus commercial. It's in Warren County, Kentucky. So that's a great start. If they're mainly, now they could be focused on new construction, or they could be focused on existing homes. Let's say they're focused on existing homes. So one thing they can do to get started is acquire a database, a mailing list for existing homes in Warren County that are 5 years older or more. This is a starting point. It's all about the database, not just a database you may acquire to do a mailing with or to do an email blast, but it's the database that you build over time with the customers that you're doing business with. So where do we go from there? They got their target audience. The next step, I think, is to determine what message they want to send to that target audience. And let's say they're going to do a fall checkup. It's going to be a special. Well, maybe that's the message. The next thing is, what channels of communication then are they going to use to get that message out? And we already know the answer to that. Those channels can be social media. It could be print, mailing. It could be talking to Rick, talking to Janette about more of a media approach. It could be using a Facebook page, doing a boost. It could be, if they have cell phone numbers, you could even, to certain demographics, you could even push out those text messages. But when the leads are received, here's the key. When the leads are received and you've implemented and executed your communication plan, you've got to follow up. You've got to take care of those leads and customers. You've got to keep good records. You've got to add to your database wherever you can and provide excellent service. Word of mouth is still important. And somebody said earlier, word of mouth is social media nowadays. But you want to make sure that you've exceeded the expectations of those that you follow up with. So that's just a little bit of a rough outline for a small business person. Take the time to develop a mission statement. Define your target audience. Determine what message you want to go out. Determine the channels of communication that fit the demographic that you're trying to reach, and then execute.
That's great. That's great, Joe. Thank you. I think having a plan in place, something like that, is very key. And I can also imagine that there are some folks on this call saying, well, I still don't even know what all the venues are. And it's just a matter of reaching out and getting to those connections, the experts in those fields. There are a couple other avenues that are available for small businesses, and that's the Small Business Development Corporation. And we've just recently opened up a new office here, or reopened up an office here at the WKU campus. And Michelle Kors is her name, and we can get you that information. We'll be sending out this information later. But Michelle Kors, SBDC has a lot of ways to help small businesses, and it's developing their marketing plan, developing a business plan, how to be strategic with that. Now, they're not selling media or marketing or anything like that, but they can help those businesses get to the markets or understand the markets that they're supposed to be in. And all three of you have great information and are also great partners to help somebody develop those plans. So we did get a few questions, and I would love to throw the first question out there and see if somebody wants to try to answer that, or a couple of you at that. Erin, do you want to do that, or would you like me to?
Absolutely. The first question we have is, how would you go about marketing an offshore manufacturer in the U.S.?
So I want to make sure that I understand what they are asking. So are they talking about marketing outside the U.S. to bring people in, or is this, or it's somebody that is shores, but they want people in the U.S. to recognize it? I just want to make sure I'm understanding.
I would think to me, the way I'm looking at the question, it's taking a company that's offshore and marketing it actually in the U.S. What would they need to do? That's how I'm reading the question.
Of course, for us, digital marketing is probably, it's where you can market anywhere in the U.S. You can target market the particulars that business is looking for, zero in on whether it's through video, through YouTube, streaming TV, or digital ads. There's so many ways, but for us, that is the easiest way to target someone outside of just our South Central Kentucky area, is utilizing digital marketing. And we do that, like I said, we have 93 stations TV-wise if we need to partner up with TV, but otherwise, digital it's amazing what it can do.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to say you probably need to go with some sort of a digital product. We currently have a person who's in the restoration business, and we are using geofencing, targeting in the disaster areas throughout the country. Down where they've had the hurricanes come through and things of that nature. These people are redoing roofs and working on cleanup and all those sort of things. But they're located here in Bowling Green, and they're using our geofencing product to advertise there. We do that all the time, and that's something I'm sure WBKO does, and it's it's easy, but it's not something that you think of. Well, I can buy that from the TV station, or I can buy that from a radio station. These are great products, and you've got to understand that our industry has changed so much to allow those sort of things now.
And manufacturing is a whole different animal as well, too.
Yeah. My comment on that first one would be mainly, you're going to have to somehow give this product some kind of a local feel. Maybe that's the people you choose to market in the U.S. And the other thing is, I think you're going to have to look at the strengths of the product that you're bringing into the U.S. to sell. Is it high quality? Is it unique? You're going to have to look at the product and really be able to sell those benefits and connect with people that have a need for it.
Yeah, good. We have, Aaron, there's that next question from Greg.
All right, is it a good idea to post your prices online? My services sort of vary depending on size of projects. Would posting the starting rates online help?
Oh.
You want to jump in?
I think it would depend on whether or not you want your competition to know what your prices are. I don't, unless you have an advantage with a lower price, I'm not sure that posting prices is really a good idea. That's just my opinion.
I would second that motion. Unless you are looking to capture the market based on price, unless you have some manufacturing advantage to keep your costs so low compared to the competition, I don't see a big benefit from that.
I agree. Put your product out there, show how great it is, and negotiate. You want them to call you. If you put your prices out there, it's very easy for them to look at the price and go on. Where if they see your product, they see what you can do, and then just, get them to call you. That's what you want. You want that connection with a potential customer. So once you connect with them, then that opportunity to sell them, it's so much greater.
All right, the next question, Aaron, from Rebecca.
Would you send direct mail marketing supplies to new prospects or companies?
Well, I could jump in and say that there are some great techniques out there as far as direct mail goes. Uh, there's some very unique packaging situations where people can use a um, kind of a gadget type thing to get attention. Yes, you're trying to get attention with direct mail. And if you have a unique way of doing that, that could really be a go-getter for you when it comes to response rates. But at the same time, you gotta balance that against the cost, the extra cost that may be involved in supplying samples of your product or a gadget approach, because there'll probably be a little extra postage cost in that.
One thing that it's another form of direct mail is with the email marketing, because with this guy right here, that's a phone. There you go. Everything is smarter, and so emails are smarter to know who the target person is, the address. We know neighborhoods now because of all the smart TVs that are connected to the smartphones that are connected to everything else. So it's a way that you can narrow in and send. It's kind of like a direct mail type piece, but through email. So we have different, you have regular, direct mail, and then you have email marketing that you create something that is attractive that somebody does want to open and maybe provide an offer and so forth. But like I said, it's a new age, a lot of different things that are going on now. And so everybody can look at the different options that are out there, fit their needs.
And put a link in that email to a video that may describe what you're trying to get for people to see, like just like Janette said. But there's so many details, so many unique ways to get that attention.
Well, even with something like that, you click through and go directly to their website that has all this information, or it can go to a special page that's all about that one thing they're talking about. So that's where utilizing, and not everybody has Facebook, so those that lean totally on Facebook for their information, you've lost 30-40% of the market that is not on social media. So you've got to make sure that you're covering your bases with that.
All really, really good points. And there's still the whole good old fashioned getting out and meeting people one-on-one and
Absolutely.
just introducing yourself and networking. The community I came from, there was a downtown area, and every time a new business would come in, they would, if they came to the chamber, they'd say, okay, how can we get our name out there? And I said, well, have you walked around and talk to your neighbors and introduced yourself and collaborate with your neighbors and your partners in your area? I think there's something definitely to be said for that as too. And guerrilla marketing is still something that, just getting your name out there can work in certain instances. So you guys have some really, really great ideas. I don't see any more questions.
We have one more for the panel.
Okay.
7 touches to get a new customers. Do you guys have any comments on that? Do the 7 touches need to be a variety of platforms or similar?
Well, as I said before, you can't put all your eggs in one basket. So if you're employing the 7 touches, yes, repetitive times that you have to mention or have your name heard, those still come into play. And all the things that Dawn said are absolutely true. As any business needs to recognize, you're not in this alone. There are others out there who have faced the same questions before. Go talk to them. If you see another business that you think is successful, go talk to them and ask them what they do and how they approach things. Networking, partnering, all of those things are things that you can do to stretch an advertising budget and a marketing budget and, get that help that's out there. not everybody's looking to take something from you. There are people who are willing to share. So give us a call.
Awesome. Well, any last questions come in, Erin?
We have no more questions.
Okay, well, awesome. Well, Janette, Joe, and Rick, thank you very, very much for your participation, your insight, your ideas. I know that you will very much and very willingly make yourself available for people to answer questions, to help them in any way you can. Just as we will here at the Chamber, small business counseling, we can do some of that, as well as the Small Business Development Center. There's a lot of ways for people to get marketing information, and there are a lot of experts out there, and I know Janette, Joe, and Rick are three of them, and they can definitely help you out. So with that, I'd like to say thank you again for the three of you for your time, and for those of you that joined in and participated. I hope you had got some good information and walk away with at least one or two action plans. So again, thank you so much, and goodbye from the Chamber.
Thank you.
Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a good day.